Hello, my name is LuvLeighAn and I am an independent filmmaker. I am presenting my idea for the California Film and Media Job Preservation and Growth Act, an incentive plan to protect our creative economy, support emerging voices, and keep jobs right here in California. This film credit will benefit both large productions and small independent productions. California Film and Media Job Preservation and Growth Act. Author: LuvLeighAn Clark, Goddess Productions. Keep films in California. Save our jobs. LuvLeighAn Clark, independent filmmaker, founder of Goddess Productions. LuvLeighAn is an independent filmmaker who began her Hollywood journey by walking from Michigan to California when she was 20. Despite living with spinal cord injury, she continues to pursue her visions of launching a nonprofit film company, Goddess Productions, dedicated to supporting foster kids, disabled individuals, Native Americans, and low-income creatives in breaking into the film industry just like herself. Her mission includes not only training these communities on her sets and connecting them with industry professionals, but also helping them create and produce their own film projects. A survivor of traumatic childhood that ended in foster care, where she moved over 40 times. LuvLeighAn was later diagnosed as autistic. Her neurodivergence gives her a unique and powerful creative lens, allowing her to see what others might miss and speak with authentic clarity. Her life and work reflects resilience, originality, and deep commitment to inclusive storytelling. She is currently developing multiple documentaries and feature films, but faces legal and financial roadblocks, including federal benefit restrictions that complicate the process of launching her inclusive production company. These are the types of barriers that new legislations can help dismantle for her and many others like her. California Film and Media Job Preservation and Growth Act. Author: LuvLeighAn Clark. Date: April 6, 2025. To be introduced in California State Legislature. Proposed effective date: fiscal year 2026. Section 1. Purpose and legislative intent. The purpose of this act is to ensure California remains the global leader in film and television production by providing open access to tax credits and rebates for all qualifying production regardless of size, eliminating restrictive annual caps and pool limits, preventing the misuse or inflation of expenses within the credit system, making California the most accessible, job-generating, and film-friendly location in the world, protecting California jobs and expanding the creative workforce. Motto: keep film production in California. Save our jobs. Section 2. Universal access and scaled credit structure. A. Open access guarantee. All qualifying films, TV, and media projects produced in California are eligible for the state incentive. No annual cap or fixed allocation pool applies to the program. B. Scaled credit percentages by budget tier. Column 1, budget range. Next column, incentive type. Last column, credit percentage. Films that are $20,000 to $700,000 micro budget, cash rebate, 35%. $700,000 to $2.5 million indie films, cash rebate 35%. $2.5 million to $5 million theatrical films, cash rebate 30%. $5 million to $10 million high budget films, cash rebate 25%. $10 million plus studio or mega films, tax credit refundable, 20% base up to 25% with bonuses. Section 3. Bonus credit incentives. All bonus credits incentives apply equally to both cash rebate and tax credit recipients. Rebates for eligible productions under $10 million may be increased by approved bonus percentages as outlined in this section. A. In-state, above-the-line hiring bonuses up to 10%. 2% for California resident director. 2% for California resident writer. 1% for California resident cinematographer. 1% for California resident composer. 1% for California resident producer. 1% per California resident lead actor, maximum 3%. Lead actor means a performer who meets all of the following criteria: is listed among the top 3 billed cast members in official credits and promotional materials, plays a central, reoccurring role in the primary story arc, appears in no less than 30% of total screen time after final cut. No more than 3 lead actors may be claimed for this proposed bonus credit eligibility. B. Job creation and diversity bonuses up to 5%. 85% or more of crew hired from California residents, 1%. 50% of department heads from underrepresented communities, 2%. Certified apprenticeships or job training programs, participants at least 6 departments per project, 2%. C. Regional development bonus up to 5%. 65% of production completed in designated film zones, rural and underutilized areas, 3%. Investment in permanent local film infrastructure, 2%. D. Green production bonus, 2%. Certified sustainable or zero waste set practices. Section 4. Anti-fraud, abuse, and transparency measures. A. Unified project definition. A single project includes all content under the same title, cast, storyline, and production schedule, pre-production, production, and post-production. Attempts to divide projects into multiple filings to maximize credit claims are prohibited. B. Consolidated budget certification. All applicants must submit a full project master budget. Projects using segmented or duplicate applications will be rejected and penalized. Projects using segmented, duplicated, or misleading applications to claim multiple incentives for a single production will be immediately disqualified from the current and future credits or rebate eligibility for a period of 10 years, and subject to repay of any awarded credits or rebates, plus a financial penalty of 150% of the misused amount if credits were already issued. Any lead producer or production company involved will be publicly listed as non-compliant by the California Film Commission and banned from future participation for 10 years. Pass-through and inflation clause. Qualified expenditures must reflect fair market value for services performed in California. Use of shell companies, artificial markup, or pass-through entities to claim out-of-state work as in-state is prohibited. Residency verification. Above-the-line bonus roles require proof of continuous California residency for at least 13 months prior to start production. During production, minus on-location filming in other areas, but they may not claim residency of any kind in any other location. And for 2 years after post-production ends. E. Penalties for misuse. California or rebate claimed fraudulently may be revoked and repaid at 150% of the disqualified amount. Lead producers who signed the approval and production company found guilty will be banned from California film incentive programs for 10 years. Projects using segmented, duplicate, or misleading applications to claim multiple incentives for a single production will be immediately disqualified from current and future credits or rebate eligibility for a period of 10 years and subject to repayment of any awarded credits or rebates plus a financial penalty of 150% of the misused amount if credit was already issued. Any lead producer or production company involved will be publicly listed as a non-compliant by the California Film Commission and banned from future participation for 10 years. Independent public audit requirement. All projects with a total budget of $10 million or more shall undergo an automatic public audit initiated and overseen by the California Film Commission, CFC, or its designated audit board. Projects with a budget of $5 million to $9.99 million must submit to a third-party financial audit conducted by a California certified independent public audit accounting firm approved by the CFC and paid for by the filmmaker. Projects with a budget under $5 million are not required to undergo an audit unless misuse or fraud is suspected. If fraud or misuse is confirmed, the production shall repay the full amount of the misuse rebate or credit plus 150% in penalties and cover the full cost of the audit. Audit firms must have no affiliation with any film organization, project, or production company and must remain unbiased at all times. Summary. Column 1, budget range. Column 2, audit requirement. Column 3, who pays. Films under $5 million, no audit unless suspected of fraud. State pays. If fraud, filmmaker pays. Films of $5 million to $9.99 million, third-party audit required. Filmmaker pays. A film of 10 million or more, automatic public audit, CFC initiated, filmmaker pays. Section 5. Deferment for large productions. Projects with budgets exceeding 50 million may claim up to 50% of their tax credit in year 1 and defer the remaining amounts evenly over year 2 and year 3. Section 6. Guaranteed access for California creators. Any California resident director or production company producing a project under $2 million is guaranteed access to the rebate system upon verification of California residency, in-state expenditures, at least 3 California-based crew hires, at least 50% of the project's total production activity must occur in California based on qualified expenditures. Filming outside of California is permitted if the majority of the creative work and budget remains centered in California. Section 7. Expanded eligibility criteria. Features and short narrative films, documentaries, feature, shorts, or episodic television and web series, animation and mixed media, experimental, hybrid, or immersive media, student or educational films up to 2 million. Section 8. Economic oversight and democratic safeguard clauses. If the total combined value of tax credits and cash rebates issued in any fiscal year exceeds $2 billion, the California Film Commission, CFC, shall initiate a public economic impact review, including open hearings, town halls, and publish reports of findings presented to the state legislature. This $2 billion threshold refers only to state-issued credits and rebates, not the total size or value of California films, media, or entertainment industry. Public oversight and access. 1. All meetings, investigations, data, and deliberations conducted under this review must remain fully open to the public with 100% transparency. 2. The following 3 mandatory public hearings must be held no later than 6 months before any vote on changes to the program. 3. A morning hearing held after 10 a.m. 4. An afternoon hearing held after 1 p.m. 5. An evening hearing held after 7 p.m. 6. These hearings must be physically and digitally accessed with ASL interpreters and multilingual translation provided. 7. They must also allow public comments and questions with no more than 5 minutes per person or time they stand in line to ask questions. Democratic review requirements. Any proposed amendment, reduction, limitations, or transactions of this program shall require a public vote to be held no sooner than 366 days and no later than 400 days after official release of educational materials. The right to vote in this review shall be extended to the following eligible individuals: legal American citizens residing in California for at least 1 year who are 18 years of age or older and currently or previously filed an independent, non-dependent taxpayer within the past year. Exemption Individuals with disabilities who are unable to work due to SSI defined caretaking needs are exempt from the tax filing requirements and remain eligible to vote. Citizens not currently registered to vote but who can present valid legal U.S. and California residency documentations are eligible. Strict neutrality in public communications. All official information materials must be released to eligible voters at least 12 months prior to the vote in the following formats: large and small print accessible visual formats, Braille, audio, recorded and downloadable, digital, ADA compliant PDF and mobile optimized web format, translation in all threshold languages under California Election Code, no political party, nonprofit, private organization, lobby, or business entity shall be allowed to purchase or distribute billboards, radio, TV ads, flyers, mailers, or digital campaigns that advocate for or against the continuation, expansion, or elimination of the tax credit or rebate system. Only individual citizens on their personal social media may express opinions for or against the programs during the voting period. All organized, funded public campaigns are strictly prohibited. All notifications and outreach about the vote must be jointly funded by the state of California and the petitioning party or parties requesting the change. Purpose of this clause. This clause does not impose a cap on the film incentive program. Instead, it serves as a fiscal and democratic safeguard to ensure transparency, public oversight, and long-term sustainability of California's creative economic without interfering with artistic freedom, independent filmmakers, or employment in the entertainment sector. Section 9. Administration and Reporting. All application processed through a simplified California Film Commission digital portal. Final claim submission process. To receive tax credits or rebates, all production must submit a final detailed budget signed by the line producer and executive producer or production company head. Copies of crew and cast payment records. Examples would be pay stubs, payroll summaries, or direct deposit logs. A vendor expenditure report with receipts or payment documentation. The CFC may randomly request additional documentation at any time. Section 10. Conclusion. This act ensures that California welcomes all creators equally, from first-time indie directors to major studios. It modernizes our incentive system with transparency, fairness, and economic foresight while defending the thousands of jobs dependent on local production. So let us talk about it. This act is about removing unnecessary barriers and opening access to all types of filmmakers, not just major studios. It simplifies how we support film and TV in California while ensuring that our economy, our jobs, and our local talent benefit from every project shot here. Purpose and intent. Keep California the global leader in film production. Provide open access to tax credits and cash rebates. Eliminate restrictive caps in grant pools. Protect job expanse opportunities and grow the creative economy. ensure accountability and fairness through the audit and transparency. This creates a scalable system. Smaller productions under 10 million get cash rebates, which are more helpful for indie filmmakers. Large productions over 10 million get refundable tax credit, which is better suited to studios. Importantly, there is no cap on how many films can qualify. Every production gets treated fairly. This plan offers true fairness. A small film project and a Marvel film project get the same treatment. Remove barriers for emerging filmmakers who do not have lawyers or inside contacts. No bureaucratic backlogs. No lotteries. No artificial competition for a pool. Faster decisions and smoother workflow. Jobs, jobs, jobs. If every project qualifies, it encourages consistent production, especially at the mid and indie levels. Protects California crews from production flights to other states. Economic multiplier effect. Each tax credit brings support into California. Wages, rentals, hotels, foods, and other expenditures. Studies show California earns 80 cents to $1.60 per dollar spent on film incentives in state GDP returns. Accountability is key. We build in mandatory audits for larger productions and fraud protection at all levels. Smaller productions under 5 million are not burdened with audits unless abuse is suspected, keeping it accessible. But if fraud happens, there are serious consequences, including 150% repayment and disqualifications. This program does not just belong to the government. It belongs to the people. If credits ever exceed $2 billion in a year, a public review and vote is triggered. All voters must be legal residents of California and legal U.S. citizens, age 18 or older. No political ads or outside campaigns are allowed, only facts. Everyone receives accessible voting material in print, audio, braille, and digital formats. Why is this fair and effective? True fairness. A small film and a Marvel film both get the same treatment. No barriers for emerging filmmakers, lawmakers, or lotteries needed. Economic multiplier. Every $1 in credit equals up to $1.60 in state gross domestic product return. Brings tax revenue from hotels, restaurants, rentals, and wages. What is state GDP return? State GDP, gross domestic product, is the total value of all goods and services produced within a state. It is a measure of the state's overall economic activity. So when we talk about a state GDP return on tax credits, we mean for every $1 the state gives out in tax credit or rebate, how much extra economic activity is created in the state. Example, let's say California gives a film $1 million in tax credit. That money helps fund wages for local cast and crew, rental of camera, trucks, and sound stages, hotel stays, food, gas, and local services, purchases from local businesses, paint, lumber, and costumes. That 1 million moves through the economy and multiplies as others spend it also. If that credit results in $1.40 of economic activity, the GDP return is $1.40 return per $1 invested. That means the state's economy grew, even though it gave up a bit of tax revenue. Why it matters? A high GDP return proves that a tax credit is not just a giveaway. It is an investment that brings more spending, more jobs, and more tax revenue over time. Positive impact on California taxes and economy. Increased in state spending equals more tax revenue. Every time a film shoots in California, hotels, catering, car rentals, equipment houses, set builds, all generate sales tax and business tax. Cast and crew pay income tax as California employees. Vendors pay corporate or small business taxes. Multiplier effects. Studies show that every $1 in tax credit can return $1.10 to $1.60 in economic activity, depending on how it is spent. Example, if $1 billion in tax credit leads to $4 billion in in-state production spending, California could see billions in new taxable income. Job preservation and workforce expansion. Keeping productions here prevents flights to Georgia, New Mexico, or Canada. Protects thousands of middle-class jobs from gaffers to makeup artists to drivers. And job equals income tax. Long-term infrastructure growth. Incentivizing more consistent production encourages the building of new studios, stages, and post-housing in-state. These incentives generate property tax, business licenses, employment opportunities, especially in smaller cities. Potential negative tax impact risks. Uneven returns on investments. Not all productions bring equal value. A $10 million blockbuster might spend mostly on above-the-line talent, actors and directors, who do not live in California. A $2 million local indie might hire 100% in-state. Without evaluation tools, some credits might yield low ROI, return on investment. How to balance the risks? Here is how California could implement an open system while protecting the budget. Set a per-film credit cap. Max out the credit at, say, $20 million per film project. Prevent massive studio claims that could drain the system. Real talk. Will this cost California? Yes, on paper, California may collect fewer direct taxes from filmmakers. But if those same productions were leaving for Georgia or Canada anyway, that is money California never sees. No wages, no hotels, no tax base. So, the real risk is not giving credits, it is losing productions. Unique selling point for California. Every film made in California is a film that creates jobs, feeds families, and tells stories from the heart of the world's creative capital. If you film here, you qualified, period. No other state or country offers this kind of open, scalable, and equitable system. This plan protects jobs, empowers new voices, and sets the national standard for film incentives, and brings filming back to California, which is great for our economy and our residents. Keep films in California, save our jobs. The next slides are the bill in Word format. The call to action with my email goddess_productions@hotmail.com. Again, my email is goddess_productions@hotmail.com. Your help is welcomed in sharing this idea so it gets in front of California government to make this bill happen and keep jobs in California. Thank you.